Hey guys, Sam from Manfa's Makes. How are you all? Welcome back to all my returners and hi to any newbies. It's so great to have you here. Please do stick around a while. And if you like what you see, give me a thumbie. They are free. So you are back today for this week's Crochet Catch Up. And I'm thinking I might have to start changing the name of this segment because it's not all crochet all the time. I don't know. We shall see about that. So, this is where I fill you in on all the crochet and other crafting I may have done in the past week or so. I do this every week on a Thursday, and it's just a good way of me cataloguing and holding myself accountable and showing you what I've been up to behind the scenes during my week. So, let's get started, shall we? We have a little bit to get through today. Not as much as last week, but still quite a fair old bit, I think. It hasn't been too bad. And let me tell you guys, my first week back after a week off, oh my lordy, did I get absolutely slammed with work. Like, it is the busiest it has been to date. And it's just getting busier every single day. Now, I'm not complaining because when I'm busy, it means I am occupied, I am focused, the day goes quicker, I'm getting stuff done, I feel like I'm really making a difference, I feel like, I'm really doing well in the role that I'm in. If you don't know what I do, I work in a special educational needs school. It is an independent school, which means it is not government run. We follow an alternative curriculum. We just do things completely different to the majority of schools in the UK. It is tailored specifically for the students and their needs because their needs are more than those that don't have special educational needs. We focus highly on social, emotional, and mental health, autism, ADHD, lots of other things as well, but they are the key needs that we cater for. It is highly challenging but highly rewarding, and my role in the school is admissions and transitions. So I am the information gatherer when we get approached about perhaps giving a child a place in our school. I look at all of their paperwork, all of their reports, all of their medical needs, all of their history, why mainstream isn't working for them, why they may be suitable for a provision like ours. I gather up all of the information. I make notes. I fill in, the platforms and things that we use to, help the head teacher come up with their decision. I speak to the family, I speak to their current or previous school that they've attended, so I get a balanced view on who they are and what they need. Within that, we have a lot of children that are also in the care system. So it might be foster carers, it might be adoptive parents, it might be children's homes where there are no parents at all. It's a very, very intense but important part of the process. Once I have had all of those conversations, when I have a good idea of who the young person is and what they need, what's currently going on for them, what's happened to them in the past. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of children with trauma, adverse childhood experiences such as abuse, and lots of horrible negative things. Once I have gathered all of that, looked into all of that, compiled everything that I need to, I meet with the head teacher, and ultimately the head teacher makes the decision whether that young person is suitable for our school, whether we can give them placement and whether we can help them. And then when it's agreed that they are going to come to our school, it's my job to facilitate getting them in, transitioning them from what their previous education was to us, getting them settled, things like that. So that in a nutshell is what I do. But we are coming up to the end of our school year. School year ends kind of towards the end of July. We then have our summer break, and the new school year starts at the very beginning of September. So I am getting slammed at the minute because there are going to be a lot of children that need placing for the new school year in September. So my consultations have gone through the roof. I cannot keep up with the pace at the minute, but I'm doing my best, and I am being reassured that I am going above and beyond and doing my job to a very high standard. So can't ask for anything else. But me personally, I always want to be on my A game, on top of my game, up to date. And that's falling a little bit short personally for me. But my management and everyone else is more than reassured and happy with what I'm doing. So it's just busy, 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 busy. So even though I've been absolutely slammed at work, I have still managed to get quite a bit of crochet and crafting done. So shall we go on and look at that? Because that's what you're actually here for. You're not here for the stuff that I've just been yapping about. Apologies. Okay, so the first thing I did after I did the last crochet catch up is I actually did some more of the diamond painting greetings cards. If you remember last week, I showed you the greetings cards that had the hummingbirds, the butterflies and the dragonflies on them. They are more generic cards, so they could be thank you cards, they could be thinking of you cards, they could be birthday cards, just any card that you want to put a special message in. I really loved doing them. It was something slightly different to just the whole pictures that I normally do. It means that I'm slowly getting a stockpile of cards if ever I need to send one to hand. Rather than having to go, oh, I need a card, run to the shop, buy a generic shop bought card, that'll do. I am slowly going to be building up my stock of cards that I've actually diamond painted on top of. So those were pretty but generic cards that I did last week. This week, I specifically wanted to pull out a pack of the birthday cards that I had bought. These are packs that I bought from Temu. I cannot remember what I paid for them, but they are really affordable in my opinion, really enjoyable. Absolutely love doing them. And like I said, it's going to be so convenient for me to have a stockpile of cards to just grab one and be able to go. Plus, because I've already bought the packs and I've decorated the packs, there's no extra cost of running to the shop to buy a card. It's all done. So let's take a look at the 6 birthday cards that I managed to complete this week. And this was the whole pack. So the whole pack is done. This is a complete FO. Here we go. Here's the first one. An exploding gift. Look at that. So this is actually like a bluey blacky holographic card base. And then you have the design on the front there. On the back of these ones, they all have this on the back, which I think is super cute and lovely. And they are just blank on the inside. So there is the first design that I did. Okay. And these come with the envelopes as well, which is great. Here's the next one. A lovely, sparkly happy birthday with balloons and banners and stars and all sorts of celebratory gorgeousness. And again, that design on the back. Next, we have a very, very festive cupcake. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Same design on the back. This is definitely a Manfa birthday card, but I'm not going to be sending a card to myself. But here is another happy birthday, but there's gifts and cake and a rainbow and, oh, just lusciousness. Look at those. And I just think that because you've crafted and put something extra into these, it just feels a little more personal. It feels like a bit more effort and thought has gone into these cards when I send them. And hopefully the recipient will feel the same. Here's the next one. A gorgeous, gorgeous 2-tiered cake with the happy birthday banner. Candles, all the frills. Absolutely stunning. You can see that the diamonds do shimmer and shine. There we go. And last but not least is another cake. So there we go. They are my diamond painted birthday cards to put in my stock, ready for somebody's special birthday coming up. There we go. So there are those. That's an FO for this week. So yay. I think I have another 3 or 4 packs of different greeting cards that need to be done. So there will be more featuring at some point. I don't plan to do any this coming week. But there will be more greeting cards to come. So that is the diamond painting that I got done. The rest is all crochet, okay? So if you're here for crochet and yarn, now's your moment, all right? So the next thing that I want to show you is, last week I showed you that I had made a start on my 6-inch granny squares. I had done these 2 and I had done 1 in this yarn. So these are last week's, so we'll put them over there. We've already shown them. And I continued on. Like I said, the first couple of days of getting back into work, I was absolutely slammed, loads to do, loads to catch up on. I was absolutely exhausted, so I just needed something mindless, crafting as I call it. So that's why I picked up some more of this yarn and other yarns to make more of these squares. Now these squares I am not going to have to join together because you know my track record on putting squares together is absolutely horrific. Because the people at the other end will be putting the squares together into projects on their end, and these are for charity. I am every month doing a few, as many as I can get done, and I will eventually be stuffing them into a poly mailer and I will be sending them to Rose over at Rose Likes Crochet. I will link her channel down in the description box. She has paired up with a new charity over there called the Generous Crafters, and this is one of the makes that you can make the whole time that Rose is collecting for the charity. Because they are super simple, super easy, something that I really enjoy doing. I love making granny squares. I just thought as well that it's not going to weigh a ton. They're not big and bulky and it's going to cost me a fortune in shipping. So it's a way of helping her without costing me a fortune. It's not like I'm sending the made blanket all the way to the US. But if you want to find out more about the Generous Crafters, what they're all about, what their kind of mission is, who they're supporting and facilitating, head on over to Rose's channel. Like I said, it's linked in the description box. She will be able to tell you more about it. She is collecting certain items each month. Like I said, I'm just concentrating on these 6-inch granny squares because it's good to help charity. It gives me a real good, you know, fuzzy warm feeling. I'm never going to meet the people that get touched or use this crochet that I've done, but it's people that need it, and it saves these scrap balls of yarn just sitting gathering dust, not being put to use because, you know, the original project is done and this is leftovers. But yeah, Rose will be able to tell you a little bit more. She's collecting up until the end of October. So I think what I'll do is I'll keep going until maybe mid-September, end of September at the latest. And then I will just stuff that poly mailer, send it over to Rose, and that will be the grand total of squares that I've sent to her. So you saw the 3 that I did last week. Then I did this one. And this one, so that's 2, 3. So I ran out of this and started on a orange scrap that I had. So that's 3. Continuing with the orange, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was the end of the orange. So then I cracked open a scrap of red. 8. So I did another 8 this week. So that means I have 11 in total so far for this month. Like I said, I just needed easy crafting, easy, enjoyable crafting, because my brain was fried after lots to catch up on at work. So another 8 this week for Rose. So they're done. Then I felt compelled to help another of my gorgeous YouTubers here in the interwebs, and that is my Auntie Lala. Lala is Laura from Mad Mimi's Crochet and Farming. I will link her channel in the description box as well. Auntie Lala, a little while ago, felt compelled that she needed to do something more for an organisation that she supports in her area up in Alaska. It's called the Breadline. She does hats and scarves and cowls and things like that for them in the winter for the homeless. That's who they support. There is quite a large homeless community in Lala's area. Well, this new thing that she felt compelled to do was to compile personal hygiene packs. Again, Lala can tell you more about that. She is doing a phenomenal job on getting all of those packs together. They include things such as soap and toothpaste and dental floss and deodorant wipes and what you guys over there call band-aids. We call them plasters. Just a little fun fact there. You know, all the personal care items that one would need, and because they are homeless, they don't have easy access to those things. So she was, you know, compelled to make these personal hygiene packs for them. And in these personal hygiene packs, rather than using soap sacks and things like that, she wanted to put in washcloths. I have a huge tote of cotton. Since I've started doing this, I've realised that I have far too many girly colours in my cotton. Now, I know colour doesn't have gender, I get that, but I also understand that the older, more traditional folks probably wouldn't want to wash themselves in glittery rainbow if they are, say, a male in their kind of autumn years, shall we call them. So I've been trying to pick out colours that are suitable, and there are more male homeless in Lala's area than there are female. I am now realising that the majority of my cotton is pink and rainbow, and I don't have a lot of dark colours. I don't have a lot of more male leaning colours. So at some point I am going to have to do a cotton order to rectify that, so I have more of a scope in my cotton stash. But in order for me to have more of a scope in my cotton stash, I am going to have to use up my cotton in other things. And I've made a start on that, but that's a project to talk about in a minute. We're still on this one. But when I have got my cotton stash down and I've depleted it to a point where I really do need to do a bulk order, I will be doing a massive cotton order to refill my tote, but have a broad range of colours, not just Manfa colours. I am realising that the more charity work that I'm doing, or charity donations that I'm doing, the more diverse of the recipients that are going to be receiving my crochet crafting. I need to have a more diverse colour palette, and that includes my regular stash as well. I now need to not get sucked in by all of the beautiful things that Manfa loves, because the realisation is, guys, I only keep a small percentage of what I make. I can't keep everything that I make, so I need to be more mindful of, let's make something that I want to make, but in colours that I can pass on or gift or would be suitable to be used by others that aren't me. So not only do I need to give my cotton an overhaul, I need to give my whole stash an overhaul. So you will be seeing a lot of Manfa friendly stuff being whipped out as quick as possible so that I can make room for more diverse colour palettes coming in the future. That is the plan in Manfa's brain. Anyway, I went off on a bit of a tangent. I do apologise. But anyway, she wants washcloths, and she said, yes, I could go and buy, you know, the multi-packs of shop-bought washcloths and, you know, distribute them much quicker, much easier. But for her, a homemade washcloth looks better, feels better, makes the person understand that there are people out there that truly care about them and want to make their life a little bit easier in the tricky situation that they're in. So I thought, right, I've got some cotton. I rarely use cotton. I need to use some of it up. Hence the previous little rabbit hole we went down. I'm going to help my Auntie Lala out. I am going to make some washcloths to help her with these personal hygiene packs. So let's do this. Okay, so I need to organise my bag a little bit. So bear with me just a second, because I need to find bits and bobs. Okay, so going back to Rose's Squares, this yarn, I used it all, so I'm going to claim this yarn band. So that will go in my yearly totals. Whoop, whoop. So we'll put that with those squares. That one's done. Bear with me a sec, guys. I should have done this before I put the camera on. I do realise that, but I didn't. Again, going back to Rose's Squares, I used all of this orange, which is Stylecraft Special Aran in Spice. I can claim that label, so I'll put that over there as well. That's 2 labels. Whoop, whoop. So not only am I getting through my stash, guys, I am claiming yarn labels left, right and centre, which is amazing. And they're going to be used by those that really could benefit from it. So I need to get to the bottom of this bag to make sure that I have got all the other labels that I have used up this week. I think that is it. Okay, cool. So put that back in there. Put this back in there. Okay, I think I'm sorted, guys. I think I'm sorted. Hang on. Here we go. So the first washcloth that I did, I picked out this little skein of Peaches and Cream Stripey. There it is. Most of you will be familiar with Peaches and Cream. It's made in China from 100% cotton. It's a medium 4 weight. Recommends 4.5mm needles or 5mm hook. This is in the colour Green Stripes. I'm not going to give you the washing instructions and stuff. 2 ounces or 56.7 grams, 102 yards or 93 metres. I used the whole thing, which is amazing. And I did a cute little corner-to-corner washcloth for her personal hygiene drive. And then I just did, how many rounds did I do? 3 rounds of single crochet to border it and use up all of the yarn, like I said I was going to. So there we go. Cute little... These colours are much brighter in real life. My ring light is washing them out. This isn't accurate. And sorry, Lala, I know it's green. I know it's people, but it was a full cake that I could use up. And I'm pretty sure the people that are receiving your personal hygiene packs are not going to give a hoot that it's green. Okay? So I had the tiniest little bit of that green left. So then I thought I'm going to do a granny square washcloth, because you know I love making my granny squares. So the tiny little bit of the green that I had left is there in the middle, look. And then the rest of it is this gorgeous purple. It looks a bit blue, but it is purple, I promise you. This one I had a whole ball and a partial ball, and I just used them both up in this washcloth. It is the pure cotton from Ice Yarns. 100% cotton. They're 50-gram balls, approximately 80 meters, so maybe 90-ish yards. Medium weight number 4, made in Turkey. No colour, because obviously these would have come in a pack. These were actually gifted to me in Happy Mail, but I used a full one and the remaining in the other. So that's 2 more labels. So that's 3 labels for the washcloths and 2 labels for Rose's Squares. So that's 5 labels this week that I can claim for my yearly usage. Absolutely brilliant. There is that one again, guys. So the last of the stripy green and the purple ice cottons, pure cottons. And then There was still a bit of the purple because I thought it's getting a bit big. So I used half of the purple in this one. Okay, I've still got some of this orange. I will show you the orange in a second. But I just did half double crochet in the third loop to give it this ridged texture here, guys. So I started off with the purple, so I suppose that should be on the bottom. I then did the other half in this gorgeous bright orange, Auntie Lala's favourite colour. And then I bordered it in some of this blue just to give it some interest. It's not my favourite one, but you know, it's a washcloth. It will serve its purpose. Now, the orange and the blue are cottons from here in the UK. You can't get them anywhere else. And they are both Devanti. This one is burnt orange cotton yarn, 100% cotton, 155 meters. It's about all I can tell you. 100-gram balls. And the blue is robin's egg cotton yarn from Devanti. So these I will continue to make washcloths out of because, as you can see, I've still got quite a bit of those colours left. So those will be the colours I concentrate on when I pick this up and do some more. I'm going to hold on to these until I have a nice little stack of them. This is a bit wonky. It's a little bit, you know, the tension's a little bit iffy. But again, it's a washcloth. It'll wash somebody's body. And again, not my favourite colour scheme, but I'm using what I've got, guys, and that is the main thing, right? So 3 washcloths for Auntie Lala and her project to make personal hygiene bags for the homeless. Now, for both Rose's squares and Lala's washcloths, no, Rose's squares, I used my 6mm dots. For Lala's washcloths, I think I used a 4.5mm dots, which I don't have with me at the minute. But 3 washcloths as a good start into helping Auntie Lala and her charity drive as well. So those are the squarey things. Oh, good gravy. Right, I'm going to put them to one side for a second, so that I can talk about the next couple of things. There's 2 more things that I need to show you guys, but I'm so happy that I've got another 5 labels to put in my label stash for the year. Right, going back to last week and something that's been featured for the last few weeks. You know that I am also, for charity, helping out my gorgeous yarny friend Christina over at Bella Uncinetto. I will link her channel in the description box. Anyone that I've spoken about today, guys, will go in my description box. You know that she is from America, currently living in Sicily, teaching on a US military base over in Sicily. One of her colleagues is putting together hampers for new babies that are born on base. She has asked that we make items to go in said hampers, and I am more than happy to oblige. I've made a few blankets now. This particular set, I'm going to call it, is ongoing, but I believe I've come to the end of everything that I'm going to be doing for this set. I asked you last week what I should make. Should I make a headband? Should I make a cardigan? Should I make a hat? I went completely rogue. I loved all of you that gave me feedback and ideas. I really do appreciate it. But I just got a bug in my butt that I needed to do something else. And that is what I did. Now, I have already done the blanket of this set using the Lovey Dovey stitch by Creative Grandma. Last week, I showed you that gorgeous dress romper that I made by Crochet by Noella. That I was really chuffed with. Is the most favourite thing that I've made this year, and even got huge high compliments from Mike about. Well, this week I fell in love with another wearable for this set. I used my 4.5mm dots, so actually that's what I used for Lala's washcloths as well. It was in my other project, see? And I'm not going to show you the blanket and the romper again. It's, you know, But I am using this yarn, and it's Sunflower Yarn Spectrum DK from the Knitting Network. They do ship internationally. I will put a link to their website down in my description box. It is 100 grams, approximately 360 meters or 394 yards, 100% acrylic, made in Turkey. Machine wash up to 30 degrees. Do not iron, do not tumble, do not bleach. This is in the colourway 004 or Pisces. I had just over a cake left after the romper, so I decided to find another cute, gorgeous make. Now, I don't know whether the new baby that receives this hamper is going to be able to wear this, because the tutorial that I followed called for 4 weight yarn and a slightly bigger hook. I've got 3 weight yarn, so I had to go down slightly. This may be too small, but there is another option for this, should that be the case. Now, I found a tutorial by, I think it's Frisian Knitting Tutorial, Frisian, and I do believe it's called something like Crochet Dress Madeline. I'm not sure, guys, but I will find that tutorial and I'll put it in the description box. So if you want to check out that tutorial, it's there at the click of a button for you. I didn't do this 100% how she did, and I will explain. This also may be a little bit too small, but it's still cute, and I'm still going to send it, because you never know, there might be a little dinky dot that's born and can get some use out of it. So here is the gorgeous little dress. Look at that. I think it's just so cute. Now, how I did not follow the tutorial is I didn't realise that she was going to put a button on the back, because I'm not familiar with baby clothing. I just sewed it up. So it is not removable on and off by a button. It is going to have to go down over the head, which is why it may not be big enough for the baby to actually use. Also, the dress part, or the skirt part of the dress, was supposed to be 20 rows long. I only managed to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it's 6 rows too short. But I still think it's a nice length in a dress, especially if they are a tiny, tiny one. But if the baby cannot use this itself, then as it gets older, they can put this dress on a stuffy, on a stuffed toy, whether it be a bunny or a bear or a dolly. It could be a doll's dress. So there is still use in this item, even if it's not going to be used by the baby itself. But there we go. There is the gorgeous, gorgeous little crochet dress. Absolutely loved making this. So gorgeous. Another baby wearable, another first for me, and it matches quite nice with the romper that I did, because it's a similar stitch in the skirt and it's a similar construction for the top, but it is 2 completely different designers. So there we go, another gorgeous little dress. Now, I did have a smidgy bit of yarn left over, and I thought, right, let's get a headband done or a hat. And I decided to go for hat, because every newborn traditionally comes home from the hospital or wherever they're born with a hat on the head to keep the baby's temperature. I went online, tried to find a really simple, easy baby beanie, but again, a lot of them were for 4 weight yarn. I've got DK yarn. I couldn't double up the yarn because I wouldn't have enough. I attempted a hat by Bella Coco. I'm not even going to link the tutorial, guys, because it didn't work out. I used the same hook, I used the same weight of yarn, but mine came up so super small, it wouldn't fit a newborn at all. So I abandoned it. I can show you what I did do. Now, this is the hat completed, and it's supposed to fit a newborn, but this looks more preemie to me than newborn. So I'm going to frog this, and what I'm probably going to do with this tiny bit of leftover yarn from those 2 cakes is I'll probably make some charity hearts out of it, because I'm not going to send this tiny, tiny hat if it can't be used. So I will use this bit of scrap to make some charity hearts. I am going to put one of, because I only had the 2 cakes left before the romper. I can definitely claim one because there is only this left, but I need to turn this into something before I claim this. So I'm going to put this together and not claim it before I'm allowed to. I can only claim my labels. This is my rule. I can only claim my labels when all of the yarn is used. So I'm going to leave this yarn band with this leftovers, but I am going to put one of them into my labels. So actually that's 6 labels this week. So yay me. There we go. There's all the 6 labels together. So I am going to consider that set done. Like I said, I'm going to use the leftover and turn them into charity hearts just to get them used up. So then I can claim that yarn label hopefully next week. Fingers crossed. Now, one last thing that I need to show you, and the only reason why this is available for you to see this week is normally I do my week's worth of content in one day. I batch film and it's normally a Saturday. Well, the weekend that I'm filming these videos, Mike and I were really busy that weekend, and you should have seen the video about it on Monday, which means I am having to do my week's content on Sunday this time. So I had an extra evening and an extra cup of tea in bed morning to start another project, and that is this one that I'm about to show you. If I had have filmed normally on the Saturday, this wouldn't even have been started yet. So it's only because I had that smidgy extra little bit of time than I normally do that I am able to show you. But I did put another project on my hook. Because I've got my cotton tote out at the minute, because I'm making the washcloths for Auntie Lala's charity drive, I spotted that I had 4 skeins of this gorgeousness that was gifted to me in Happy Mail. Remember what I was saying about most of my cotton being very Manfa, mainly pink, sparkles and rainbows? Well, this shows you that it is. This is Premier Hipster Cotton. It is 229 yards or 210 meters, 3.5 ounces or 100 grams. It is 100% cotton. Made in Turkey. It is a lightweight 3 or DK, machine wash warm, tumble dry, iron low, do not bleach. Recommends 4mm needles or 5mm crochet hook, and this is in the colour Rainbow Roller Skates. And when I received this, I always knew that it had to be a project for me, because you know I love my rainbows. And because hopefully we are going to be heading into summer soon, I got it into my head that I wanted to find a crochet t-shirt tutorial so that I could have a t-shirt top. And if I used cotton, it would be perfect for summer because it's cooler, it's more breathable, it's more suitable for the warmer weather. Plus, it finally gives this yarn a purpose. So I did a little search on YouTube, you know, crochet t-shirt tutorials. A lot of them were for either fingering weight, sport weight, or worsted. And I'm thinking there's got to be DK t-shirts out there. So I went back to someone that never, ever lets me down, and that is Crystal over at Bag a Day Crochet. I will link her and the tutorial that I'm following down in the description box. I watched the first little bit of it to see if I had the quantity of yarn that I needed, and I do. And it just makes me happy that the yarn that I have been holding on to and not wanting to use until I find the right project is finally getting its day in the sunshine and being turned into something gorgeous. Plus, it's helping me condense down my cotton stash so that I can give it an overhaul at some point. Remember what I was talking about right at the beginning? So there's lots of tick boxes going on here. But most importantly, I will be getting myself a cotton crocheted t-shirt at the end of it. Now, the t-shirt that I decided on was the A Day at the Races t-shirt. I will link that, like I said, in the description box. This is how much of the first skein I've got left. So I have managed to get a fair bit into it. But like I said, I only started this late last night and a little bit this morning when I had my morning cup of tea. And I've got to do 2 panels exactly the same of this, but I'm still on my first panel at the minute. Please ignore my ends. But here is the beginning of the front panel. Isn't that just so pretty? It's giving me rainbow tie-dye, hippie. It's called hipster cotton. So, you know, it's doing exactly what it says on the label. Now, it's perfectly, Crystal says, it's perfectly normal and natural for this to have this kind of, you know, scooped out bit on the side. It will all become right when we put the top together. You start with this meshy bit in the middle, you go up to the shoulders, and then you rejoin and go down for the body of the t-shirt. I still have quite a few rows to carry on putting on at the bottom to get the length of the t-shirt that I want, but that is a really good start for 1 panel when I've only literally put about 2 hours into this. Crystal always has really clear, easy to follow tutorials. Absolutely love it. I cannot wait to have this done as a wearable for me to wear this summer. So let's put it up against myself here. So of course, let me pull the camera down a little bit. Of course, there is this lacy bit here. So you might, you know, if you want to be a bit more modest, you might want to wear a tank top so that you're not showing too much, which is probably what I'm going to do, to be fair. But if you're not bothered by that and you want to flaunt what you got given, then no judgment whatsoever. But that is how it's going to sit on my body. And then obviously there will be the second panel as well. I'm doing the large size, which is the size that Crystal does in her tutorial. So it's super simple for me. I just have to do exactly what she's doing because it's the size that she made on the tutorial. But she does give you all the other sizes as well. But yes, I still need to put a little bit of length on there. And I am the type of person that likes a really long t-shirt. So I will get to the number of rows that she tells you to go to. And if I still feel it's a little bit too short, I will just keep going a bit longer. But that is the progress on the first panel. And then when I've done the first panel, I need to do a second one exactly the same. And that's as far into the tutorial as I got, guys. I don't know what I need to do after that. I do think that she has, I don't think it's capped sleeves. I think they're kind of short sleeves. I might even extend the sleeves a little bit because I do like more of a longer sleeve because of, you know, me old bingo wings and all that. So there we go, the start of a summer t-shirt for Manfa. And that, guys, is everything that I got done this week. As well as working my full-time job, going on a day date with Mike on the Saturday, which never happens and took the majority of a day. As well as, you know, doing mum things and daughter things. And yep, it's been a full-on week. But I still think that that is an awful lot of progress. New projects, finished projects, lots of charity donations. I am more than happy with that. Plus 6 labels to claim. So I am using my stash. I know this doesn't change that you look at, but I am using my stash. I am making stuff. There you go. There's your proof. Anyway, I have kept you for nearly 45 minutes. Thank you so much for staying with me this long today. I really do appreciate it. Please, please, please have a wonderful weekend ahead because obviously it is coming up to the weekend for you again. What have I got planned this weekend? I don't think I have anything planned other than it is Father's Day here in the UK. So I will be celebrating or helping the children celebrate Mike, and I will be celebrating my own dad as well. So for any UK people out there, here's your reminder, it's Father's Day. And we will, of course, on the Sunday be going around my mum and dad's for our every other week roast and quality family time, especially with my nephews. So that is what I know I've got planned for the weekend. Other than that, we will just go with the flow as usual. I will, of course, record all of next week's content for you. But yeah, I will see you next week in that content. I hope you have a fabulous weekend coming up. I hope the week has been kind to you, and I will see you very, very soon. But until then, stay safe, be kind, look after one another, get some good quality time in with your loved ones, and get some good quality crafting time in. I will see you in the next one or around the YouTube streets. Bye, guys. Love you loads.